Alright, what's going on, guys? Hope you all are having a good day. So today's video is going to be a full review of the new Rainbow Six Extraction. We'll be talking about what the game is exactly, how it works, and you guys will get to see gameplay of it throughout the entire video. Now, I do want to thank Ubisoft for sponsoring this video. It did allow me to try the game out a little bit early, so the gameplay you're seeing is not technically the final product. It still is a little bit of a test build, but you at least get a basic rundown of what this is all about. Rainbow Six Extraction will be launching the full game on January 20th, starting at $39.99, and also 2 friends can play crossplay for free with you with a buddy pass for 14 days. So if you're wanting to try it out with some friends, you can do that absolutely for free, and not to mention all post-launch content for this game will be free as well. Weapons, operators, and maps, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to try it out for yourself, you can pre-order the game using the link inside the description. Go and check that out. If you guys enjoyed the video today, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get started. So what exactly is this game and how does it work? Well, Extraction is essentially a 3-player co-op mode in which you go and complete objectives on varying maps of varying difficulties, and you'll never have the same experience more than once. The basic idea is you load into one of the maps with your team, and you're given 3 random objectives to complete while you're in that map, and they can vary in difficulty. They'll usually require a different form of strategy depending on what you're playing. This is where the operators come into play. For example, the objective you're seeing right now is sort of like a lockdown or capture the objective sort of thing. You need to capture 3 points while defending it from enemies. This one is a little bit more simple to understand, but they do vary in complexity, and there are some ones that genuinely require a large amount of communication with your team. That said, you still can play the game solo if you want to. However, it is strongly recommended that you play it with other people. Generally speaking, I would say the maps in this game are roughly 3 times the size or so of like a typical Rainbow Six Siege map, so they're pretty scalable, and you'll definitely feel that as you play the objectives. So the way that the operator system works in here and how you go about selecting characters is pretty unique. I've never really quite seen a game do it like this before. So you've got your list of typical Rainbow Six operators, and obviously they all have their own individual weapons and gadgets and other react tech that you need to use to complete these objectives easier, because straight up your weapon just isn't enough a lot of the time. You do need to make use of your gadgets. But that said, if you bring an operator into a game and they happen to take damage or lose health, or you even completely die out, they will be out of commission for the next couple of games. Like, you actually have value in protecting your teammates and protecting yourself as well, and not letting yourself needlessly lose operators. Otherwise, you actually have to go back in another game and rescue them. The good news is, though, as you continue to play a certain operator and complete missions and make your way through the maps, you're going to unlock a huge amount of new gear and also just rank up your operator itself. The game has an exceptionally deep progression system, and if that's sort of the thing you're looking for and to get addicted to that gameplay loop, this is going to scratch that itch perfectly. And because the mechanic exists where your operator's health will span across games and you need to let them heal as they, like, continue to be used or rank up, you'll actually get to try out basically every single operator that exists in the game at some point or another, so you'll always have somebody to rank up. And believe me, it's absolutely worth progressing through these, because the game gets unbelievably difficult. If you really want to make it scalable like that, the game can be very challenging. So if that's something you're looking for as well, then you need to continue to play and rank up in order to meet that challenge. So interestingly, in a co-op game like this, I think one of the things you need to get right is have a good balanced selection of enemy types. And I kid you not, as we were playing this game, I lost track of how many different enemy types there actually are. There's like probably more than 20 of them. And all of these different enemies have their own special little quirks or distinct features that separate them in the gameplay, and you have to go about handling them a different way depending on what they are. For example, there's a spiker enemy that can actually beam you with like these blue crystals from kind of far away, and they deal a ton of damage. And the problem is, it is somewhat hard to regain health in this mode. Now, the good news is you have the ability to scavenge the map and look for things like health boxes, ammo, and you can find these things laying around a little bit, but to be honest, you're better off actually having somebody run something like a medic class or being able to replenish ammo, because they are very scarce throughout the world. The good news is you don't have to do all 3 missions in a particular map. You can do 2 and maybe, you're a little bit run down. all of you guys are low health, and then you can extract, or if you happen to lose a teammate, it's better to extract instead of risking to do the third one. But that being said, the deeper you go into the progression of the game, the better your rewards are going to be. So if you can manage it, it's worth doing all of them. Another thing I noticed is every single objective you can approach in a slightly different way. There's no like correct way to go about any of them. So basically, they won't just all end up being an all-out gunfight, although that will happen. A lot of the times you can go into a mission and completely stealth it out. You don't even really need to fire your weapon. You can go in without alerting any enemies and get the job done. This is obviously going to require a lot of coordination with your team, but it's totally doable and it's possible. There's also a bunch of little Easter eggs around the map that I noticed that I'm sure if you play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege will make a lot of sense to you and are just generally good background information to learn a little bit more about the mode. So up until this point, all of the gameplay has been centered around doing objectives and escaping alive, ideally with the most amount of rewards and HP as possible that you can maintain. But there's also a Maelstrom Storm mode in which it's basically infinite survival. And if you're looking for a real challenge after all of your operators are leveled up, you've unlocked all the gear and react tech, things like that, definitely try out that survival mode because it is no joke. It's going to be super interesting to see how the meta evolves and how people figure out how to optimize these things, because I don't play a ton of Rainbow Six Siege, but from what I understand about the game, there's a lot of intricacies about how different gadgets and operators interact with each other, and you really need to know just a lot about the game to really, get a good handle on it. And I feel like this game is going to be very much the same way, in which there is an optimal situation to take down, one of the like 20 plus different enemy types, and there's going to be a certain meta of team that work really well together. So it's going to be up to you and your team to find out exactly what that meta is. And the nice thing about the progression is it's really not linear. Like, there's no direct way to go about progressing through the game. You don't have to start with a certain operator. You can basically pick and choose at your leisure and also unlock the react tech and other gadgets completely at your disposal. Something else I noticed with Extraction is it genuinely rewards working with a team, because there's a lot of co-op modes that I play where, they say it matters how well you communicate and coordinate with your teammates, but it really does matter in this one. If you're not using comms and you and your team aren't on the same page about how you're going to approach an objective, maybe one of you is going to go guns blazing, the other one wants to be stealthy. If you're not on the same page with that, you're going to end up getting like both of yourselves killed. So it's one of those things where if you're genuinely looking for something that requires coordination, then this is certainly the game for you. It pretty much takes the intricacies of Rainbow Six Siege and refines it into a PvE mode, which in my opinion would be ridiculously hard to do, but I feel like they pulled it off with this game. You and your team are playing really well and you're flying through objectives and increasing the difficulty and progressing, there are full-on boss fights that you're going to find yourself in, and I won't spoil them because they are actually genuinely a lot of fun to play, so I'll let you guys experience that for yourself. But suffice to say, there is like some really cool endgame content to work for. And as I said at the beginning of the video, all of the post-launch content for Rainbow Six Extraction will be completely free, and it literally includes maps, new objectives, and possibly even new boss fights and things of that nature. So if you've already been playing and progressing up your operators, then you're already be like one step ahead of the competition. Also, I should mention, even though this was a demo build that we played in this gameplay, it ran surprisingly very well. Like, I didn't have any technical issues to speak of, and if the game is running this well or even better on launch, then you'll have absolutely nothing to worry about quality-wise. If you are interested in checking out Rainbow Six Extraction for yourself, highly recommend it. Link to that is in the description to go and pre-order it. And remember, when you do have the game, you can play with 2 of your friends completely for free, also cross-platform with the Buddy Pass system. So strongly recommend trying it out with a couple of your friends when the game does come out. It will be released on January 20th, as I mentioned earlier. But anyways, guys, I hope you all did enjoy the video, and thank you very much to Ubisoft once again for sponsoring this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy. I'm going to go, and peace out.